This Monday, April the 24th at 7 p.m. at my church, located at 955 Wilkes Avenue, the Winnipeg Youth Orchestras will be holding their annual Sounds of Spring concert. Featuring some of Manitoba's finest student string and wind players, this concert will feature all three orchestras that make up the Winnipeg Youth Orchestra system. One of the highlights of the concert is that the Winnipeg Youth Symphony Orchestra will be featuring their 2023 Student Concerto Competition winner, trumpet player Sam Ferguson. He will be playing Hummel's Trumpet Concerto, which is an ambitious piece for university level players, never mind a high school student. And joining me here over Zoom, I am joined by Andrea Bell, who is the conductor of the Winnipeg Youth Symphony Orchestra and the 2023 Concerto Competition winner, trumpet player Sam Ferguson. Hey, Sam and Andrea, nice to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Andrea, I'm going to start the conversation out with you. This is a particularly auspicious year for the Winnipeg Youth Orchestras. This year marks it's the 100th anniversary of the Youth Orchestras. Can you talk about the impact of the youth orchestra system and the impact it's had on you? You're from Winnipeg, so I'm presuming you went through the system. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I did. Yeah, youth orchestra was one of the most important parts of my life as a young person growing up. I started playing cello a little on the late side at 12, and my teacher at the time was like, "You should join youth orchestra. It's pretty fun." And I remember my first rehearsal, I was so beginner at cello that I came home and burst into tears because it was so hard and beyond me. And then I was just like, I love this though. I want this, and practice like crazy to try to catch up to my peers. And so yeah, I went through all three levels of Winnipeg Youth Orchestra. There's three orchestras, and then went away to school, and then came back and got hired as one of the conductors of the youth orchestra. So it really has been a lifelong journey and love of mine. It really has been one of the most important parts of my life.
Mm. And the concert on Monday will actually feature three ensembles. Can you describe the three orchestras that are going to be performing and maybe talk about the age and skill levels and who the conductors are of the three groups?
Yeah, for sure. So there's three levels of orchestra. There's the youth strings, and Kathy Lee conducts that. There's the youth concert orchestra, which Keith Durda conducts, and I conduct the senior youth orchestra. And so the kids range in age, like the youth strings is, I'm not sure what their youngest player is, but the kids need to play at about a grade 3 or 4 Royal Conservatory level. It's an auditioned group and just strings. And then the intermediate level is full orchestra and also audition. So the kids are a little bit older, more middle years type age range.
Mm-hmm.
And senior youth orchestra, I do have some younger students who played a very high level, as young as I think 14, and I think my oldest student is 20. So sort of the maximum age range for the senior youth orchestra is 21. So, but lots of upper high school students that play at a pretty high level. So.
Mm-hmm. And my understanding is, I was on your Facebook page. This isn't going to be the first time that you've played this repertoire. Apparently, there was a school tour that happened earlier this month. What schools did you
Yeah,
go to, and how did the players? What kind of impression did the players of the orchestra have doing the school concerts?
it was so much fun. We played at three schools, and it was just lovely to sort of get some experience performing our repertoire. We put Sam hard to work because he played his concerto 3 times that day. I think we managed to skip one of the movements at each of the performances just to sort of make it a little shorter. But that's hard on the chops. So Sam did a great job. And it was so lovely to be able to play at schools again. This is the first time we've had a tour since, the one in 2020 was canceled. And then, so the
Yeah.
last time we went on tour was 2019. So it was really great. And the schools were so appreciative of us being there. And we were able to chat with the kids a little bit. And it was a great way to get some experience performing before our big concert on Monday.
Absolutely. Can you talk about the repertoire that the orchestra is going to be performing on Monday?
Yes. So our symphonic goal for this year was Mendelssohn's Italian Symphony. So we've had already 2 concerts. So we've performed the first movement of that symphony and the last movement. And for this concert, we're going to perform the second and third movement. So the students will have performed the whole symphony over the space of the year, which is great. And that's a huge accomplishment. They really sound fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 2 movements of Mendelssohn Italian, and then we are doing a work by Florence Price, who's a fantastic composer, American composer. Certainly, people are starting to recognize what an amazing composer she was.
Yeah.
The story of her, she was the first African American female composer to have a work performed by a major American symphony. And really, she was a prolific composer. And not too long ago, they found a bunch of her music, like that story where they found her music in her old house and it was about to be demolished, and
Yeah.
that's incredible to me. So really, and she was quite the brilliant young person too, and was wrote a lot of great music. So we're playing one of her beautiful pieces. It was originally for organ. It's called Adoration. And so that's a lovely short work, and it was one of the works she composed at the near the end of her life.
Hmm.
And let's see, what else we're playing. And then Sam's Concerto, of course. Sam's right in front of me. So Sam's Concerto, the Hummel Concerto, which is so exciting. And Sam sounds amazing, really, just absolutely brilliant trumpet playing. So we're doing the whole concerto, Hummel Concerto.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Yeah, I mean, I remember reading the story about the discovery of Florence Price's music. It was found in this old shack in Illinois, and it seems now that they've discovered her music, everybody
Mm-hmm.
is trying to record it and get it out there,
Yeah, yeah.
which is awesome.
And
Uh,
really, her music is so great. So it should be heard.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Sam, I'm going to turn the conversation over to you. Can you tell us about yourself? What school do you go to? How did you get into trumpet playing? And who is your trumpet teacher now?
Hey, my name is Sam Ferguson. I go to school at Fort Richmond Collegiate and I'm in grade 11 right now, so I'm 16 years old. I started playing the trumpet, I'd say probably around age 8 or 9. So that was pretty early. I've been playing for about 7 years. And I sort of got into it. Both of my parents are music directors. So there's always been lots of music going on in the house. And my dad actually plays the trumpet as well. So that was kind of an easy in to the instrument. And I sort of started taking lessons from him. And he's sort of my main teacher right now, but I'll take lessons from on and off from people sort of all over the place across the country and some people in the States as well. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I just have full disclosure here for our Classic 107 listeners. I know Sam's parents very well, Cheryl, and I actually went to school. I went to university with your dad, Daryl. He's a great, great trumpet player. I just have visions of the Ferguson household, you guys just sitting around the table, having long conversations about air support. So it must have been a big, help to have such great parents with you, right?
Yeah, it's really nice to have a support system sort of already in place from such an early age and such a developmental stage in musicianship.
Absolutely. So you're playing Hummel's Trumpet Concerto with the orchestra. Before we get to the piece, can you talk about how the concerto competition worked? Were there rounds to the competition, or was it just sort of one of these things you show up, play, and the adjudicators pick a winner?
Yeah,
How did the competition work?
so essentially, everyone in the orchestra was allowed to compete and it was available to everyone to sign up. And so you would sign up for your slot and announce your repertoire choice. And then it was held at a church and each person had a 15-minute slot and you would go in and play your piece for the two adjudicators. And then the results were released about a week later.
Yeah, so just and you took it, which is great.
Mhm.
Can you talk about the Hummel Trumpet Concerto? What challenges does it present for the soloists? What does it really work on for the trumpet playing aspect?
Well, it's sort of a bit of an all-encompassing work in that like it really focuses, there's many different aspects of playing that are involved in the piece. And so one of the main challenges is actually the key of the piece. So it was written at a very early stage in the development of the trumpet in which you actually need to play this piece on the E flat trumpet as opposed to the B flat, which is what most instrumentalists will start on when they play the trumpet. And this is pitched a fourth higher than the normal trumpet. So everything is kind of really high in the register and it's hard to sort of slot the notes in where they would normally sit for the B flat trumpet. And so this is a little bit of a challenge. And it also presents a lot of opportunities for musicianship, especially in the second movement. So just sort of expressiveness and phrasing and those type of things are really play a big part throughout the piece.
hmm I'm just thinking about that final movement. Is it double tonguing that
There's
final
quite
movement
a bit of
involved?
double tonguing in the last movement. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so it really works
Yeah.
articulation. And then one of the other things that they think about with the Hummel is the opening. There's those large leaps. Is that a problem for some
Yeah,
trumpet players? Or?
that can be a bit of a challenge as well, just sort of navigating all the intervals that really would have been somewhat easier in the time that it was written for the original trumpet, but this in a modern setting, it becomes quite a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Sam and Andrea, the concert sounds like it is going to be just amazing. Andrea, I'm going to ask a question of you. Where can people get tickets and how much are they?
So you can get tickets at the door or online, and it's $20. And so yeah, it's easy way to do it. And we're at my church, which is a
Mhm.
lovely space for us to be in. So
Yeah, and if I'm correct, it used to be called Grant Memorial Church. Is that right?
yeah, I know when I do it, I always go my church because people go, what?
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah. On
it's on Grant
Wilkes.
Memorial. So yeah, it's a
Hmm.
great space for us. It's
Absolutely. Uh, for our Classic 107 listeners, I have embedded a direct link to the Youth Orchestra website in the article that is now up on classic107.com. There you can purchase tickets and find out more details about what is going to be a very enjoyable and terrific concert. Once again, the Winnipeg Youth Orchestra's concert Sounds of Spring takes place Monday, April 24th. That's this Monday at 7 p.m. at my church located at 955 Wilkes Avenue. Andrea and Sam, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today. This has just been great.
thanks for having us, Chris.